think. If you can hear me, just let me know in the comments. Hopefully we can get started soon. Okay. I think, well, there were more people and now there's less, so I think that's a sign that I should probably get things started. If you can hear me fine, let me know. If you can't hear me fine, let me know. If you can't hear me at all, we'll figure it out, I guess. Someone said, I'm excited. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. I'm also excited, and I also had never done this before. I was trying to get so I think on the stream you can just see the video screen, and I wanted to get like my actual like Final Cut Pro official workspace in, and that didn't really work. So this is what we have, and we'll do our best with it. Oh, we hear you. Oh, excellent. Thank goodness. Okay. So I'm just going to get started. I don't really have a real agenda. I kind of am just going to say whatever is on... My voice is echoing. Okay, let me do this. Let me know if my voice is still echoing. There's like 2 mics going on. Yeah, it sounds like there's an echo. Okay, I know there's a delay from when I talk to the actual stream itself, so I'll wait the 30 seconds it takes for people to tell me if it echoes or not. Also, I live near a busy street, so you might hear that. My kitchen makes noises, you might hear that. Who really knows? We're gonna take this as we go. But yeah, like I said, I don't really have a real agenda. I also lied in the thumbnail because I think I said this has 80,000 views, and as of now it has, what does it have? 79,685, but I think that's close enough. And also, this is how we move in the world, where we exaggerate our accomplishments. I'm kind of just going to go into how I built it, and what I thought, how I made choices, things like that. But also, you may have questions about how I did these things. You may have questions about other videos, and please send them through. If you can. I really don't know how to do this. And I can answer those too. It's gonna be, you're right, that is almost 80,000. And hello to everybody who's been commenting and joining. I lost my train of thought. Anyway, we'll get started. If you have questions, please send them through, and I will totally derail to answer them because I don't know how this is gonna go. So let's get started. So I thought what I would do first is talk about the song. So A Hero Sacrifice somehow blew up, which is very strange to me because it's the kind of video that is not very popular on my channel at all. If you know me more than longer than 60 seconds, then you know that I mostly have made Shadowhunters videos for the past 2 years, I think. But as the show has ended, I kind of need to branch out, and I don't want to be only making one type of show with one type of video and that kind of stuff. I really like what I do, and I want to be able to apply it to other shows that I love. So doing multi-fandom stuff was kind of a new thing for me. Before this video, I had another video, which I guess you have seen, called Bad Guy, and I made it when I hit 2,000 subscribers. Thank you. I really hope I am off to a great start. So I made Bad Guy. I was really excited. It was every year I'm going to pick one song that has been edited to death, and I'm also going to add to that mass pile, and I'm going to do my own spin on it. So Bad Guy was kind of that video. People seemed to like it, which was great. It was also cool for me because it was a different style of editing. It wasn't like a... what is it called? It wasn't like a big character study or some slow moving emotional stuff. It was people being bad and sound effects and things like that. And I love that style. So I look at it now and I'm this video's not that great, but it's okay because I'm really happy that I made it. I'm happy that people liked it, and I'm happy that I can look at it and improve from there. Someone said, what other fandoms are you interested in doing videos for? I have said for a while that I am planning to kick down the door with at least 100 different Teen Wolf videos. As it turns out, I already have 2 on my channel. One is a character study on Lydia Martin. The other is a character study on Kira Yukimura, and Viacom has, like, I've been brawling with Viacom because one of them is blocked in the US, the Kira video, and then the other one was blocked and then is now unblocked, so everybody can see it now. So I am doing my best. I kind of know going forward with if I can continue making Teen Wolf videos, I know that a lot of them are going to get blocked, so a lot of people are not going to be seeing them. So I will probably be making a lot of more use of my Vimeo channel, which allegedly is my sort of backup for just videos that get blocked. There is a fire truck passing. You can probably hear it. I will wait till it calms down. Cool. So yeah, the next thing I want to do is Teen Wolf. I also, I don't know if people might not be aware of this, but I have also been like deep diving into The Expanse, which is this amazing sci-fi show that is on Amazon Prime, and it's like has become my like top 5 shows of all time. Also, do you see how quickly I have avoided talking about the video that we're supposed to be talking about today? But that's where we are. So I've been kind of like really close to finishing a video about The Expanse, and I know a lot of you probably have never watched it, but I hope when I release that video, you'll give it a chance, or at least you'll give the video a chance, and maybe you'll really like it, and maybe it'll become a new favorite show of yours. Exactly. Critically acclaimed television your third eye needs to be open to enjoy, to understand, to analyze, to perceive The Expanse. There's a truck outside making sounds. It's fine. The Expanse is a great show. Anyway, I don't know if there are other shows at the moment. I'm sure there are others. There aren't a whole lot of shows where I'm like, I want to do a Shadowhunters deep dive and make like 15. I don't even know how many Shadowhunters videos I have. I think I have 15, 16, 17, maybe 20. I don't know if there's another show besides Teen Wolf at the moment where I'm like, we're gonna grab everything out of this show that we can. But that's where the multi-fandom videos kind of come in. Here's my segue. I wanted to use multi-fandom videos to sort of explore the more artistic side of things, to work with shows and movies that I probably would not make its own video for, but I really like particular scenes or quotes or themes and things like that. So that's why I made Hero Sacrifice. So let's talk about how I made a Hero Sacrifice. Finally. I don't even know how much, we're probably like 15 minutes in. It tells me it's 11:17 a.m. So we are almost 20 minutes in, and I haven't talked about the video. So this video, I started this video back in January. I had watched a video by another editor called Zurich23M. Everybody in this stream right now probably knows who he is because has like 100, 200,000 subscribers. I think he's a really interesting editor. I take a lot of my recent patterns. I like attribute a lot of those patterns to him. The way I like look at things, the way I do character studies, that sort of stuff. I really like his work. So if you don't know who he is, I really suggest you check him out. This song, which is called Sacrifice, ironically or unironically, is by a composer called Steve Jablonsky, and it's off the like some Transformers movie soundtrack. I have never watched Transformers. I don't plan to watch Transformers. Thank you. I do like talking about videos, and multi-fandoms are a challenge. So that's the song. The video was about, I think it was a character from Game of Thrones. The guy with the eye patch, and he dies, and Arya stabs the Night King. It's like spoilers abound. Anyway, it was a really great song, and I really like Zurich's work, and I was like, this is a great song, I want to use it. So I took the song, and it originally this video is almost 6 minutes long, and the song is about like 7 minutes long. I was like, I am not making a 7-minute long video. Except when I started this in January, I was like, I absolutely can make a 7-minute long video. And, thank you about showing the artistic side of things. Thank you. It's definitely a process. Every day I'm trying to make myself better. I'm just gonna keep derailing, and I hope everybody's okay with that. One editor who I think is really, really good at this, well, 2 editors. Lauren Michelle, who we don't make the same kinds of videos, but I really like her work because she's on the more like special effects side of editing, I guess, which I'm not used to. But she does it in a way that I think blends really well with the scenes and movies and shows that she uses. Um, and she's probably like very, very well known for being as artistic as possible. Even using just random scenes from random concepts and blending it all together. It's really, really cool. I really like her work. Um, so Lauren Michelle, I think if anyone looks up to anybody for artistic stuff, I look up to her. And then Sarah, whose username is Shainira, like Shainira. I've never said it out loud, so I hope that's correct. If Sarah's watching, if she's not watching, she doesn't need to know. We align a little more on our style of videos. She does a little less like special effects, a little more like character study kind of stuff, and she is really good when it comes to multi-fandom videos about the more artistic side of things. So there's a recent one she made, I forgot what it's called, but it uses a song by Son Lux, probably. It's one of her recent ones, and it's like a lot of beaches and lights. Oh, it's a song called Lanterns Lit, and she uses a lot of scenery from different shows and puts them together that they all kind of feel connected to each other. Yes, Lauren Michelle's edits are incredible. So when I talk about artistic, that's kind of what I'm thinking about, those types of editors. And there's a recent one too by two. There was a collaboration recently by two editors. Both are called Zoe, but they have an accent at the end of on the E in both of their names. So it may be like Zoe. I don't know. One of them goes by Sunny Vids, and the other one is, I think, Zohwho, like Zowho. They recently made a collaboration to a song called Aquatic by Son Lux again. I think Son Lux is like the sort of new artist that everyone's gonna just grab all their music from, similar to Olafur Arnolds, Max Richter, that sort of thing. They made a video to this song Aquatic, and it's beautiful. I watched it like 6 times in a row, and I was like, this is what I want to make when I want to make a multi-fandom video. It like just blends everything together so perfectly that it feels like just a very, very long movie, and it's a very long song, so it's very difficult to fill all that in, and it's 2 different people's work, so you have to also mesh 2 different ideas and personalities and styles together. So I would check all those videos out. I'm sure if I like wasted more time, I could get the links, but I don't want to waste more time. We're already 20 minutes in. Jesus Christ. What was the most difficult part of making the video? This video? Well, let's get back to it. Okay, so I started this video in January. Little known fact, I actually started with the intention of using this song for a video about Clary, because I don't have enough videos about Clary, aka I do have too many videos. She has, I think, of all characters and anything featured on my channel, I think the character of Clary has the most. I think it's a total of 3 videos now. And the only one that matches up, I think, is like the number of Malik videos I have, which I think is also 3. And my most popular video is my latest video about Clary. And I was in a really weird funk when the show ended, and I didn't really release anything while the show was in its final season, and I was just really feeling like I needed to kind of get some closure and make something that kind of closed out the arc of this character that I had followed for so long. And I didn't have anything, so I wanted to use the song to do that. And then the more I did it, it was really hard trying to put a story together. And I think it's just because I wasn't really in it. Initially, the song is called Sacrifice. The theme of the video for Clary was sacrifice because the end of the show, she makes a really, really big sacrifice. And I wanted to kind of show her individual hero's journey. And I found that the longer I tried to make this video, I just was really stretching out scenes, and I wasn't really like stringing together a coherent narrative. I was just kind of putting scenes to fill up time. And I didn't feel like excited, and I was like, I don't think I really want to continue this. I had another Clary video at the same time that I was starting, which I totally gave up on, but I guess little known fact about that, I was gonna use a song from the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. soundtrack because I had seen someone do that recently. I think it was HGM Edits, and it was a video about Eleven from Stranger Things when season 3 ended, and they made this video where they combined two songs together. The first half is like very scary, it's kind of like traumatic, all these things, and then the second half is very hopeful. And that second song, the hopeful one, is a track from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's a track that I really love, and I was like, this is brilliant. I want to do the same thing. I gave up on that, so who knows what'll happen. What am I? There's some comments. What's the difficult part of the video? Have I thought about incorporating anime or cartoon edits? Well, if you scroll back a couple of years, you'll know that I started initially as an Avatar: The Last Airbender editor. It's like the reason I got into editing. Now that the live action is coming back, I might either start making more Avatar videos, maybe, or I might plan to start making live action Avatar videos. I don't really know. Other than that, I don't look too much to animation for these kinds of videos or stories. Not because it's bad. There's a lot of great animation. I just think my interests lie more in the sci-fi live action drama area, and that's just where I'm really comfortable. And it's funny that you also say this because about 5 years ago, I was like, am I going to be able to make the switch from animation to live action? Because I'd only, up until that point, made Avatar videos, and I didn't really know how to work with live action. So you can also scroll back and you'll see my old Harry Potter videos, which I still love dearly. I was excited when I made them, and I like that I made them. But I was testing the waters and seeing if I can make the switch. So it's funny seeing the same question in the opposite way now. Have I seen Grable424 and Heather360X's videos? Yes, Grable424 was a big staple from started, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago. Grable, I think that's Lauren is her name, and I guess Heather. Lauren's videos I have been very well acquainted to. There is, I guess, little, I don't know, secret, spoiler. For those of you who are aware of the New York Shadowhunters convention that was supposed to happen in April and is now happening in September, I am making some content for them, and there is one video from Lauren's archive that uses it that I loved when it dropped. I look now and I'm like, oh, that was such a product of 2014. And I'm gonna use that song in one of the things that I make. So I don't know. I don't know if that's useful. Heather's videos I think I've seen around. I'm not as familiar, but I definitely am sure I've seen one or two. You're aiming really high. I always feel like I'll never be good as them or as you, but I want to change my style. When it comes to so here's the thing when it comes to wanting to be like other people, I think you kind of just have to know that whatever you make might be really ugly and terrible. But the joy is in making it. And one of my favorite things is seeing something that another editor did and making the resolution to somehow emulate that work, and seeing what I come up with. And I really like looking at my past videos and thinking oh, I could have done that better, or this wasn't the greatest choice. I think that's good because that shows that I am constantly growing. The only way you can make good art is if you make art at all. So I really appreciate the compliment, but I wouldn't try to compare yourself to people you think are in whatever way better than you. I would rather think of it as, what are they doing that I love so much, and how can I try to do that myself? And how can I create new things myself? Because I was in that position. Years ago, I was I want to be just like these editors. And it's so strange now to hear people who are I want to do what you do. It's very, very weird to be in that position, but I think everybody's capable of that. I do love your Clary videos because we can really see how much you care for her. I do. I really like Clary. I had to think about it the other day, though, and I was for whatever reason, Clary is not my... it's not the character I connect to the most. That is Maya from Shadowhunters. But Clary is the character that I'm just the most fascinated by. Whether it's in the books, whether it's in the show, there's just so many layers to her. I think I'm the only one who thinks that, but it's fine. I'm okay being the number one Clary stan. But yeah, I do feel like I owe her a final video just for closure for everybody involved. I know it. Yeah, this started as a Clary video. Okay, I'm gonna get back to. I know you've been getting a lot of why didn't you include X comments. So let me really quickly talk about how I switched to multi-fandom. Basically, with this video, I was like, I don't want to do Clary. I think I was watching a lot of multi-fandom stuff, and I was like, I have a lot of ideas about how this video could be interesting from different perspectives, like aka different shows, different characters, so why not try it? And this was a really, really big endeavor because this video is 6 minutes long, so that is not something I've ever done before. How did I pick which ones to include? So kind of my process when it comes to so we're like in a new era where I'm not making Shadowhunters videos anymore, which means I don't have like a running encyclopedia in my head of all quotes, themes, characters at any time. I have to do a lot more research. So what I end up doing is I always have like the notes app open, and I just like take notes on quotes and scenes and things that I really like that I think would really fit. So for this video, when I finally decided like I want to make this a multi-fandom thing, I just had a running list of like, oh, I want to include Stranger Things because I remember that scene where Jim Hopper like sacrifices himself, and that's part of sacrifice. I want to include Shadowhunters because I really like Shadowhunters, and that's a really easy thing to include. I want to include Teen Wolf because I think like I want to get better at editing with Teen Wolf. I want to include The 100 because The 100 has a lot of really great quotes that relate to this theme. There are smaller things like so the way I kind of approach multi-fandom videos is like there are like the main shows and movies that I know well enough that I can kind of go through the archive of their show and think about like character arcs and things like that and like pull from them. And then there are things that are like I've watched this once, I've heard about this scene, or I remember this happened, I'm just gonna pull from it. So one thing that is really related to is, so I don't know if I can, So this final scene of The Mandalorian, this is the end of the video. The Mandalorian I watched like once through, and I think I watched a couple of fan videos about it, but I at one point wanted to make a video about The Mandalorian, and it wasn't really working out because I just didn't feel as passionate about it, and I think it was just something that other people were better at doing. But there were some really interesting scenes in that show that I thought were going to be useful in this video. So The Mandalorian is an example of a show where I am not very experienced with it. I don't know that much, but there are like clips and scenes that I remember that I wanted to include. Another one is Runaways, so Marvel's Runaways. There's literally one episode of Marvel's Runaways in this video that I just used different clips for because I remember that episode so vividly, and I really like, so this character that you're seeing on screen, this is Nico Minoru. I think she's such a fantastic character. If I was more interested in this show, I would love to do a character study about her. I'm really sad that there doesn't really seem to be one on YouTube because I think she's just a fascinating character, and I love that she's had all 3 seasons to sort of be really complex and like have to deal with this dark side of her and wanting to be a better person, all these things. Great character, but I don't know that much about her, so I pulled from the episode that I knew and I kind of threw it in where I needed to. So that's kind of like how I really just choose things based on what I have watched. So there's like a video, I think I'm starting a video, I have like a bunch of random projects that I either seriously continue or I don't seriously continue. But in a lot of them, when they're a multi-fandom video, I think about what have I watched up until now that like could relate to this. So I think there was a video I started that was a little more, it was a little more depressing, and it was more about like inner thoughts and feelings and that kind of thing. And I remember I wanted to include Euphoria, the show, in that video because that deals a lot with like depression and like characters coming to terms with their identity and that sort of thing. And so I thought that'd be a really interesting show. But Euphoria in this video doesn't really fit because it's less about sacrifice and more about just kind of these day-to-day issues. So that's kind of how I like maybe like fine tune between themes. So I guess that's how I kind of choose. But yeah, when people are like, why didn't you include this? It's because I didn't watch it. Like, someone was like, I can't, they were like, no offense, but why didn't you ever include Supernatural? I'm like, because I never watched Supernatural, and I'm never going to watch Supernatural. Somebody asked about Doctor Who, and I have watched Doctor Who, allegedly, but I didn't really care about it as a show to, like, pull anything from it, although I'm sure I could have gone back to it and find interesting things. But it's not a show that I'm really familiar with, so I didn't really care to do it. Yeah, that's kind of how I choose it. I don't know if there are more questions or if I should like just keep going. I guess I'll keep going. So something here. Yeah. Also, I hope this stream is working. Let me check very quickly if this stream is working. No one sent me an SOS yet. Okay, so how did I make? So you can't see this, but on my timeline, I sort of have markers because the way I approach making, once I like decide I'm gonna make this video, I'm gonna do this theme, then I'm like, oh my God, I have to fill up 6 minutes of a video. That's very hard. This is a very slow song. Like, it's the same like beat over and over. It's just that one piano note like going and going and going, and eventually it builds to this very like dramatic climax, but like you have to fill up all of that. It's very hard. So that's good. Don't watch Supernatural. Noted. So like the best way, if this is advice, I would say the best way to kind of handle making a video like this is divide. Like every single video I make, I always divide it up into like parts of the song. And that means that my favorite songs to use are also songs that change in some way. And so I'm trying to think of an example. Let's see. In this video, you've got, and I'm not gonna use the audio on this. I'm gonna use the audio on the song itself. Oops. So you're not gonna hear any quotes, but I'll just play this for a minute. Oh wait, this thing. So I'm gonna mute myself and then I'm gonna play this. Let's see how this works. So I hope, oops, I'm not going. I hope you heard that. Basically, I played a part of the song where it changes. And the part where it changes is this clip right here. It's where that string starts coming in, and it kind of keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. And I love that part because up until this point, this is like, what, we are, it doesn't tell me like how far I'm in, but I'm sure we're like, what, 30 seconds in? Yeah, we're about a minute in. And the music up until now has been a piano. Yes, you really should start writing down scenes and quotes. It will help you so much in the long run, especially for just quotes that like you really wouldn't. There are big quotes for characters where you're like, this is something I attribute to this character. And then there are quotes where you're like, I would not have remembered this if I didn't just write it down and it sounded interesting to me. So anyway, back to this. Up until this point, which is about a minute in so far, this song has been like purely piano. And this part where we see these characters, let's do this, where we sort of see these characters running and then being pulled back, that's when the strings start coming in. And I'm gonna play the audio of the video, not just the song, so you can hear what's being said. Here we go.
Clark Griffin, there were impossible choices. In life, you always have a choice. Sometimes it's easier.
I also realized that I have to mute myself again.
There were impossible choices. In life, you always have a choice. Sometimes it's easier to think that you don't. All you do is show up late.
All I do is hurt people.
I'm the monster.
I'm a monster. Maybe I should just be no one again.
So I know my the sound is really like blown out. That's because my computer is totally messed up. It's fine. I hope you heard that. But there's a specific quote. So up until this point, which is again the past minute, this video or this theme has been sort of like the aftermath after something really terrible has happened, after a character has done something really bad and is trying to come to terms with it. Then you have these people who are like, well, you can't, who are sort of admonishing them. They're saying, like, you can't get away with this. You can make good choices. You don't get to sort of get away with making bad choices. And then there's this quote by, it's a Teen Wolf quote. There's a lot of Teen Wolf in this video, I'll say. There's this quote by Cora Hale. I guess spoiler for anyone who hasn't watched Teen Wolf. There's a quote by a character in Teen Wolf. Oh, thank God, I thought you couldn't hear me. There's a quote by a character, and she says, but all you do is show up late. All you really do is find the bodies. So to me, that's a turn because it's saying, like, what you did was not enough. Like, you may feel bad about yourself, but you still caused this pain. And then after that, you see a lot of quotes by so Eleven, she's saying, I'm the monster. You have Bellamy from The 100 saying, like, I'm a monster. You have this quote by Scott, and he's saying, maybe it would be better if I had just not, God damn it, I'm echoing. Oh, wait, I'm not echoing. Oh, that's late. Okay, we're good. You have this quote by Scott, and he's like, maybe it would be better if I would just not be, it's a pretty dramatic thing. He's saying, like, I shouldn't be here at all because all I do is get people hurt. And the way this section works is it's a turn in how the character feels about themselves, which matches with a turn in the song itself. And the visual pair, so there's always three things. There's how the song moves, there's how the quotes move, and then there's how the clips move. That's sort of how, I guess that is sort of how you make a narrative. You always got to keep track of three things, and you always got to make sure that they line up. How do you choose which songs or what type of music and what to put where? Well, I am talking about that right now. So we know that the song right now, there are strings coming in, which makes it a little more emotional. We know that the quotes are starting to be more, I don't know what the term is. It's being more harsh. They're being critical. The character is starting to hate themselves. So now we need the visuals to match up. So in this turn, this is sort of the turn, we have, these were filler scenes. We have this character, which is, oh my God, what's her name? Carolina from The Runaways, and she's running, as the Runaways do. And then you have Clary from Shadowhunters who's running, but then right here, when the violins start coming in, as you saw, she's being pulled back. So, like that.
All you do is show up late.
And I timed that very, very specifically because I wanted the minute that the violins, I don't know what string, maybe it's a viola. The minute that the strings come in, I wanted Clary to be pulled back. And that is sort of like a jolt in what the audience is watching too. And then to kind of drive home that she is being pulled back, I paralleled that paired it rather, with this scene of, oh my God, what is her name? Mrs. Byers? Will's mom, who has a name and is her own character, but I forgot. It's not Jane, that's someone else. Whatever. You know her from Stranger Things, and she's also being pulled back. And so having this scene of her being pulled back, following this first scene of Clary being pulled back, kind of like says this is not just a filler scene, this is intentional. I'm making you feel the feeling of being pulled back. So that's like how I address a turn in a song. And the only way I do a video is like there has to be turns. And if there are turns, then that means I don't have to try and do the same exact theme for the entire video. I can focus on individual sections. So this whole following section, where people are being pulled back and I'm a monster and I think like, they're feeling really bad, blah, blah, blah. They're very, very sad. This section is about one thing. It's just about a character who is really at odds with themselves and who can't. It's very precise editing. Thank you. I spend a lot of time. This whole section, which is about what this starts at. It would be fantastic. Oh, there is a time here. It starts at 56 seconds, and it goes to 1 minute and 18 seconds. Is entirely about a character feeling bad about themselves. Then at the end of it, there is a quote that goes like this. Oops, that's not what I'm supposed to do.
No one at all.
Scott, you can't protect everyone.
No matter how much you punish yourself, you can't put this all on yourself.
So, there's this quote, and Scott's like, I shouldn't be anyone at all. Then there's another quote from Teen Wolf, and the character says, you can't, I don't even remember, I just totally forgot. It's like, you basically can't take responsibility for all these things that have happened. And then there's a beginning quote from The 100 that's like, no matter how much you punish yourself, and it'll finish later. Then the turn here is this quote. And this is a quote from In Shadowhunters. It's Joyce. Joyce Byers. Thank you, everyone. So there's this quote that Alex says to Magnus in Shadowhunters, and he says, you can't put this all on yourself. So toward the end of this section, where characters are feeling bad about themselves and blaming themselves and thinking that they're a monster, you start to build up to the next section, which is someone telling them that that's not true. You know, you can't just be this person who takes on the weight of the world. There are more forces at work. So that's how we turn. This means that for about 20 seconds, all I have to focus on is a character hating themselves. But then for the next 20 seconds, I have to focus on characters telling people that, you're not completely at fault. But it's also sort of emotional. I really like this section. I'm going to play it out, actually. Thank you, everyone, for telling me it's Joyce.
You can't put this all on yourself.
You can't save everyone, Thomas.
It's not gonna change anything.
Maybe what I really wanted to say was, I'm sorry.
It's not gonna bring anyone back.
I wish I could have helped you.
And I don't know how to fix it.
So this whole section, I completely lied. I was like, oh, it'll get better. It's not going to get better. These characters are saying, you can't put this all on yourself. But even if you can't pull it on yourself, it's more that you can't take back what's happened. You're going to have to find a way to move on. I believe the quotes are, you have Alex. You have Alec talking to Magnus, saying you can't put this all on yourself. You have this quote from The Maze Runner, my favorite scene in the entire Maze Runner trilogy. If you're ever going to watch The Maze Runner, watch The Death Cure, aka Part 3, aka best top 5 movies of all time. Anyway, you have this quote from Brenda to Thomas, and she's saying, you can't save everyone. Then you have this quote over this clip of Jon Snow, and it's a quote from The 100, and it's finishing that quote from before. Remember, the beginning of the quote was, no matter how much you punish yourself. And now we're finishing the quote, and we're saying, I don't even remember what he said. What did he say?
It's not gonna change anything.
He says it's not going to change anything. So you can't put this all on yourself. You can't save everyone. It's not going to change anything. So it's less about someone comforting these characters and more about trying to move on, learning that you're going to have to just pick up the pieces and keep going. It is very emotional. Yeah, this section was actually kind of stressful for me. I was like, damn, I kind of know what I'm doing. He says it's not going to change anything. I believe he finishes the quote and he's like, it's...
Maybe what I really...
Nope.
It's not gonna change anything.
Maybe what I really wanted to say was, I'm sorry.
It's not gonna bring anyone.
Yeah, so he says it's not going to change anything. Then characters are crying, essentially. I love this close-up of Clary crying. I think it's such a beautiful scene, a beautiful shot. It's also on a handheld, so it's kind of shaky. It's just really great. I kind of wish the show had done more of that. Anyway, you have this quote from Teen Wolf, and a character is starting to say, maybe what I was really trying to say was. And this is me attempting to overlap quotes. That's a really good trick in order to stretch time, so you don't have to like make your argument yet, because right now we're still at the it's not going to change anything. And I haven't said the next part, which is the end of the quote is, it's not going to bring anyone back. And because I started with this quote of Lydia saying maybe what I was really trying to say was, I can sort of stretch out how long it takes me to get to the it's not going to bring anyone back quote. And then I can finish off the Teen Wolf quote, and she says, I think she said, yeah, she says, I wish I could have helped you. Because that's the end of her maybe. So her whole quote is maybe what I was really trying to say was that I wish I could have helped you. And the I wish I could have helped you is not super connected to it's not your fault, you can't save everyone, whatever. It's more about like the character feeling that they need to do something. So that's why the end of this quote is closer to the end of this section, because the next quote is Scott from Teen Wolf, and he's like, and I don't know how to fix it. And it's a little bit random, I recognize that, but it's more to get you to the next section. How do you stay organized in your editing? Like, which quote you already used, or where do you put them, especially in a long multi... I just kind of go. Like, the thing is, whenever I'm working on a video, I play each section, like, 200 times, and so at this point, I kind of know, like, what I've already used and what I haven't used. There's a recent video I started for The Expanse. It's a character study, which I'm not as familiar with. And so that one, in my notes where I have a list of quotes that I'm using, if I ever like decide, okay, this quote is going to go here in this section and I'm not going to move it, then I like just kind of make a note that I've already used it. That's more for me to understand like what quotes do I have left versus how do I not repeat a quote. I don't know. I don't really have to worry about repeating quotes. Especially because with a song like this, again, these sections are kind of so different from each other. It's really easy to just focus on what quotes do I need for this section. It's 50 minutes already. If anybody does have questions that like I totally ignored or derailed from, please send them through. I think I only get an hour on this stream anyway, so I hope this has been helpful at least. We haven't even made it like, what are we? We're 1 minute and 35 seconds in, and this is a 6-minute video. It's fine. What I can do is I can skip to parts that are more interesting. So let's talk about my favorite. Well, I have 2 favorite parts. Let's talk about this favorite part. So this section that I'm skimming through right now, these characters are talking about how they want to try, and they're trying really hard, and they are failing, and it's really difficult to make hard choices. So there is this quote by, here we go, Amos from The Expanse, and let's play it out. If you can't hear, I will just repeat it.
Choices on my own, man. I'm trying to make choices on my own, man. I can't seem to make the right ones.
I know. No one's always right. I'm sorry.
So the quote that Amos says is, I've been trying to make choices of my own lately, and I can't seem to make the right ones. Great show, by the way. I would really encourage you all to watch The Expanse. And then in response, this is just another filler quote. In response, Naomi, the character he's talking to, she says, no one's always right. And that sort of closes out this section of these characters talking about how they're trying to make good choices and they can't. Have I been tempted to switch to another editing software from Final Cut? Well, I only started using Final Cut Pro once I got a MacBook, because I used to be a Sony Vegas like truther, and then you couldn't use Sony Vegas on Mac, and I was like, I can't believe I have to use this new editing software that I hate so much. And now I'm like, I don't know if I could ever use anything besides Final Cut. So I think I've wanted to use like Adobe Premiere, but I don't really feel the need to switch to it. I also have wanted to get started with After Effects, but I just don't really know how to use After Effects at all, and it would be a lot of failed attempts before I get something I really like. So I think the short answer to that is yes, but I'm sticking with Final Cut Pro. So back to this video. So Naomi finishes this quote, and she says, no one's always right. She's saying that like no one can always make the best choices. Now we have this section. This section is, there's going to be a quote from Melinda May from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I'm sorry. All you can do now, I'm sorry, but I have to go back, is balance the scales and do some good.
So she's saying all you can do now aka in the wake of the bad choices that you've made, all you can do now is balance the scales and do some good. And it's kind of paralleled with these shots of these characters turning. This is Bobby Draper from The Expanse. Again, please watch this show. She's turning. Let me mute it so I can play it. So she's turning, and then you have Maya from Shadowhunters turning. I just wanted a visual parallel. I don't really have anything deeper than that. Then you have Eleven from Stranger Things, and she's saying, I'm sorry. So this, I really liked this part because in this section, she's saying, I'm sorry, right? She's saying, I'm sorry. May is saying, all you can do now. And then, oops.
Is balance the scales, do some good.
She says, I'm sorry. May says, all you can do now. Then 11 says, I'm sorry, but I have to go back. And then May finishes with, is balance the scales and do some good. So I really liked the overlap of those two quotes. Also, I haven't checked. Am I like way too close to the mic? I can talk from farther away, but it's almost an hour, so who knows? Anyway, so I really liked the overlap because you think it's just a character like being apologetic again, feeling bad, but then 11 saying, I'm sorry, but I have to go back is a character making the choice to, like May says, do some good. And I really liked that because then after May says, you have to balance the scales and do some good, you have this cute quote, not cute quote, you have this cute clip of Baby Yoda. I kind of thought of it as like sort of the rebirth almost of just innocence and things like that. Then you have this great quote by Allison Argent, who I am tolerant of.
But we're going to have a new code. My friends are in danger.
So she says, but we're going to have a new code. And I really liked that because it just felt like a follow-up to everything that's being said and just kind of like a quiet statement. I really, really like that quote. Oh, that's Cole. Oh, hi, Cole. Anyway, I really like this section. And then, here's my favorite part. Finn the Jedi, the best character from Star Wars. No,
My friends are in danger.
I love the lining up of the lightsaber with the song.
My friends are in danger.
And then this whole section, and because we have 4 minutes left, I'm just gonna finish this on this section, which I think is kind of the peak of this video, because it's a lot of it is about making that choice to do better. Like these characters who are coming back from these bad choices now have to work to kind of, do good things now. And now here's the struggle of doing good things. So I'm gonna play it out, and I'm also gonna mute myself so you can hear it better.
Do some good. But we're going to have a new code. My friends are in danger.
Get out of here. So we can keep us alive.
Nous protégeons ceux qui ne peuvent. Nous protégeons ceux qui ne peuvent pas se protéger eux-mêmes.
We can defend those who can't defend themselves. Come with me.
We have to do good where we can, when we can.
So that is kind of my favorite. I'm gonna end on this. This is my favorite section of the entire video because I love how I like overlaid everything. So first you have the song, which is at this point has gone from like emotional strings to more hopeful strings. Like it's getting louder, the strings are getting more intense, and you've got some other like, I don't know if it's like drums or something that are coming in. So the song itself is getting more intense. And then you start off with this the lightsaber. I keep calling it a sword. It's not a sword. You have the lightsaber going off, and to me that's like a statement that like things are going to change. Like it's about to go down. And then you have this little follow up. This is from The Mandalorian. This character is saying, "Get out of here." It's just like it's a filler quote. The way I say it, there are like big quotes and then there are filler quotes. This filler quote is like a snapshot from a scene that doesn't mean much, but means a lot given the quotes surrounding it. So this get out of here is more about this character making a choice to protect someone rather than what exactly he's saying. I hope that makes sense. Then you have, over this, The Expanse, once again. Anyway, you've got this quote from Game of Thrones, and the quote is saying, but we can keep others alive. So prior to this Jedi thing, you had, we're gonna have a new code, my friends are in danger. you have things getting more intense, and this guy saying, but we can keep others alive, is such a natural statement of like, you're coming back from all of this pain and tragedy, but the least you can do is help others. So you have that, you can keep others alive. You have, over that is this scene from The Expanse. It's hard to explain the context of the scene, but it's two characters really choosing to trust each other. So after you have the Game of Thrones quote saying, we can keep others alive, then you have the classic Allison Argent, like, I'm sure there's a million gifs of it on Tumblr, and she's saying, you know, we have to protect those who cannot protect themselves. She's saying it in French. So she's saying that over finishing this scene from The Expanse where these two characters are trusting each other. Then we finish on the actual scene of her. I forgot that I'm actually overlaying two versions of it. So there's this scene where Allison says, we protect those who cannot protect themselves in French. And then there's this scene where she says, we protect those who cannot protect themselves in French. And I specifically overlaid it where she starts to say it in this scene and then kind of gets cut off and says it in this scene. I hope you can hear it.
Get out of here. But we can keep others alive.
Nous protégeons ceux qui ne peuvent pas se protéger eux-mêmes.
I do that a lot. I love to overlay like quotes that are the same, and just instead of like cutting from one to another, I like to deliberately make them staggered. It's just like, I don't know, it's a fun trick that I do. And then you've got the Game of Thrones quote. He said, but we can keep others alive, and now he's saying we can defend those who cannot defend themselves. And I liked that at the end because it's repeating what Allison said, which is saying we protect those who cannot protect themselves, but he's just saying it in another way. So again, just emphasizing this statement of helping others. And then, you know, it's just stuff like this, blah, 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 you know, stuff like that. That's my favorite section. I think I worked on this particular, like, it's like 5 seconds. I worked on this for so long because I was so dedicated to get this right. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. And it's been an hour. Oh my goodness. I think now is the natural time to stop, but I also know that I am talking like a 60 seconds ahead of what the stream will show. So I'm gonna give it like a few minutes, I guess. I'm gonna play this video in the background, and if people have questions, then I can continue to answer them, and if not, then we can start closing out this stream. So yeah.
Everyone. No matter how much you punish yourself, you can't put this all on yourself.
French pronunciation made me smile. Yes, I'm pretty sure that Allison's French is not good.
I'm sorry.
It's not gonna bring anyone back.
You released a CD showing how hard he has tried even after he's been clear and how they decide if they want to help. Thank you. Yeah, this is really hard to make because you're trying to show essentially a character arc, like in 6 minutes, but it usually take like 3 seasons.
But everyone's counting on me, and it's so hard. Ever feel like you have the best intentions, but you're just making one mistake after another?
I'm trying to make choices on my own, and I can't seem to make the right ones.
No one's always right. I'm sorry. All you can do now. I'm sorry, but I have to go back. Is balance the scales, do some good.
Pronunciation is not great, but as a non-native French speaker, is that the term? As someone who learns French, I don't think I would be much better.
Nous protégeons ceux qui ne peuvent pas se protéger eux-mêmes.
We can defend
I'm
those
glad
who
everybody likes the stream. I didn't really have an agenda. I also had some other things I wanted to put on the stream, but this might be the cleanest way. I think in the future I might try and include the timeline so you can see the clips themselves. Who knows?
Grounders don't give up. We fight. But I can save them. You just have to keep fighting.
I'm tired of fighting.
Fighting the fight is all we are. Come on. Torture. Kill. Betray. It just seems we
Oh, this is also my favorite part with the war. Oh my god, I wish I could have talked about it. Basically I worked just as hard on that section. I was very stressed about it.
Can't we try something else?
You get up and we fight this. Don't run.
This was not a section that I enjoyed at all. It's probably my weakest section.
Like a coward. But that hurt. Stay
This was cool though. This is a quote from Lord of the Rings. I don't know if anyone can hear anything I'm saying. Or if the sound in the background is just like terrible bass blown out. Rogue One was just 2 hours of a hero sacrifice. Yes, and Rogue One is the best Star Wars movie, so it would make sense that it has the best speed out of all the movies.
Don't let it consume me. This is the way.
I think in the future I'm going to figure out how to get this video on my screen to play naturally instead of like from my computer speakers, and so that you guys aren't hearing disgusting, like, crappy songs. This is also a cool part.
Death is the enemy.
So the Lord of the Rings quote is, he says, "I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you." And that section is about your friends and being like, I can't carry your burden for you, but I can support you in choosing better. So I thought it was just a great quote.
I'm done fighting.
Enjoy dinner. I'm glad you were able to join. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad everybody had a good time. Maybe this is something we'll do again. I don't really know what video to do next, but if anybody has any videos that they're like, we need to, as a community, have a dialogue about, let me know. Maybe I'll make a poll.
Until the end.
You can hear me. Don't wait.
Whatever happens, wherever you go,
Whatever it takes.
you're not gonna do it alone.
And I think with the Lord of the Rings quote, Samwise is actually talking about the ring, so he's literally saying, I can't carry the ring for you, to Frodo. But it's nice to take it out of context and say that Sam is actually talking about the burden. And I think Sam is talking about the burden that Frodo has in a metaphorical way. So happy that you included Merlin. I will give Merlin its flowers from time to time. Cool, and that's it. Thank you everyone for joining. Thanks for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it. I liked talking about it, even though clearly I talk way too much and waste an hour, but maybe we can do this again. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'm gonna keep talking until I learn how to stop this stream.